Hey, sup, low skill blogger here, and I will be explaining why I've been gone. So if you didn't see, I made a community post that no one cares about, explaining very valid reasons on why I've been gone. Okay, now that the cringe intro is over, we can now talk about the main point of this video, which is how to get better at the game.
I'm the biggest bird.
So arguably the most important fundamentals besides having good guns is your control layout. If you don't have a good control layout, you will never improve at the game, or you just won't reach your max potential. I would recommend using some sort of claw, which allows you to do more things at once simultaneously, and this can greatly improve your timing and aim for 3-cat spam. I will show some claw layouts right now. You may be wondering how to use these claws, and here's an example of how to use them. So if you see a shoot button that's on the top corner, that means that you have to use your index finger, and to use these claws to shoot, you should always just tap the button, except for one of the claws, which is the shooting button on the bottom right side. If you tap a shoot, then you'll have better accuracy. As you can see from my very terrible gameplay, you can see that I just tap the shoot button, and that's how you use the claw. If you want to get used to claw, I recommend using sniper only to train your aim, or start cat spamming very slowly at first, and you can pick up the speed over time. The best map to train your aim in is Nuketown because it's good for long, short, and medium range, and it's overall more competitive in there usually because you have to play smarter in Nuketown compared to other maps like Classic Pool, for example. Question is, what if you're playing on PC? Well, I don't care. That's a you problem. But realistically though, if I was a PC player, I would just choose the correct keybinds that are comfortable to you. But we don't need keyboard and mouse to be good at the game, unlike Kravos, because mobile players are on top.
I'm the biggest bird.
So sensitivity is pretty your own preference based, because you can't just like copy other people's sensitivities and automatically get better. That's not how it works. You have to find your own sensitivity that fits for you. So to find your own sensitivity, I recommend going to a match and then you try out the sensitivity, and if you feel like you can't hit the target, like it's too fast, then you have to slow down your sensitivity. Too slow means that you have to raise your sensitivity.
I'm the biggest bird.
So another important aspect is what kind of wear to use, and for my recommended wear, I will use the burning tiara, the pumpkin mask, and if you don't have that, use the demolition mask. And for your cape, I would recommend using Cape Editor, because Ultimate Defense Cape is no longer worth it. So for boots, I would recommend using Cyber Santa, Stardust, or Pilgrim, and if you don't have any of those three, then you should use Berserk because it's cheap and easy to obtain. For armor, I recommend using 260 HP armors like Inflatable Armor, Developer Armor, and Advanced Combat Armor because they provide the best movement, and 280 armor is slower, and it's just for noobs in general. Hey guys, Professor 4shots1kill over here to give you a quick basic math lesson on how to calculate damage with modules and wear. So let's say for example you have laser bow and then you take the base damage of it, which is 149 at mythical, then you take the wear and then you add it up, which is 90%, so then you have to multiply it by 1.19. Then next you take your module number, so let's have X module, which is 49%, you multiply that by 1.49, then you get your gadget, which is a leader's drum, which is 1.25%. Then when you enter these into the calculator, you get 330, and then you round it to the nearest ones place, and then that's your base damage. Stay in school, kids. So for recommended loadouts, the best loadouts basically, of course, give you the best gameplay possible. So I will give you some examples of what best loadouts are. So for primary, you need to use ultimatum. But if you don't have ultimatum, you should use Viking or acid shotgun or space devastator. Then for backup, use only thunderer or sparkling horn, because those are the best backups with, because they have the most damage. And then for melees, try to keep like 100 mobility melee, like double cashbacks, since they provide the best speed. If you don't have double cashbacks, you should use a 90 mobility melee like foam sword, for example. For special, the best special to use is Necklace of the Ice King. Darts is not as good because it has limited range and the poison damage is unreliable. Plus, Necklace of the Ice King can one-shot with Leader's Drum, unlike poison darts, unless you have poison. For snipers, you should be using one-shot snipers, usually snipers that do 156 base damage at minimum, for the best gameplay possible. Some examples include Harsh Punisher, Sakura, and Deadman's Rifle. Now for heavy, there's many options. For example, there's Christmas Ultimatum, there's Bomber Cat, and there's Pixel Color Refresher. Now each of these heavies have its own specialties. So for example, if you want to do the most damage output, you would use Christmas Ultimatum. And then, for example, if you want the best movement and rocket jumping abilities, you will use Pixel Color Refresher. If you want a heavy that does no specialty with it, and then it's a mixed balance between good damage and good rocket jump and movement, then I would use Bomber Cat. So the next tip I have for you is avoiding delays like melee and special switching. A lot of you may be wondering why I tell you to use Thunderer or Sparkling Horn, along with a 2-delay sniper like Sakura, for example. Well, that's because you can avoid the delays by special switching, which is pretty easy and everyone can do it. So here's an example. Let's say you have Sakura out first and then you shoot it, and you want to go to Thunderer, but you can't because there's a pullout animation. So what would you do? After you shoot Sakura, you would quickly tap on your special and then quickly tap on backup, and then you can shoot Thunderer again without delays. Make sure to do this not too fast or else you'll get a delay, but also not too slow or else you're wasting time. You could keep practicing this and eventually you'll get really fast at it.
I'm the biggest bird.
My next tip for you is game sense and strategies to use in deathmatch. So a lot of people, when they play deathmatch, they often have bad habits like rushing people a lot, which is not very good because it leaves you vulnerable. So a good strategy to use is to take advantage of whatever map you're in and find a good place to like camp out, for example. And some people may call you out for that, but it's pretty common tactic and it's the most efficient way to get kills. So I have 2 examples for you of good camping spots. So for my first map, it would be Nuketown, for example, and as you can see, Nuketown has a lot of long range, so the best thing to do is camp on rooftops, because rooftops give you height advantage. And make sure to hide behind roof platforms, because that can prevent your body from getting hit. In this example, I'm showing you of all rooftops to go on to. But on this rooftop, for example, I would try avoiding this because you are pretty vulnerable, but if you're daring to, you can go on it. A quick game strat is to look around your surroundings and view out your enemies so you can know where they are. And also pay attention to where spawns are, because a lot of people often spawn behind you. And if they do and you don't check around, then you will die. So make sure to check around spawns whenever you're camping somewhere near them. As I show you good spots to camp around in this map for North Pole, another quick game strat is that whenever people are shooting at you behind you, what you can do is quickly pull out your heavy and rocket jump up top, and then you can pull up primary like ultimatum, and then you can finish them off, and then you can continue killing. Or if you're fast enough, you can quickly turn around and shoot them. But that's a more skilled skill set. So as long as you remember your spawns and then you stay in good positions so that you can continue killing, then you'll have a better kill death ratio and you will get more kills.
Bigger than a castle where you're in Australia.
So for final tips and tricks, I guess that one of them, first of all, which is probably the most important, is you should play with people that are better than you. Like in my gameplay, for example, right here, I'm playing with someone who's better than me at the game, which helps me get better at the game too. And I know it seems frustrating that since the other person's better than you, you might leave the lobby because you can't win, but I consider that as good practice. So keep playing with better people and then you'll improve faster and you'll see better results. My other tip for you is do not use aim assist. Like, it's not worth it, honestly. And that's more of artificial improvement, and it's more rewarding to do well with your own aim. So don't use aim assist because you're going to end up relying on it too much. Also, make sure to not use huge area damage weapons like bubblegum, for example, or spam heavy too much or primary too much because it can ruin your aim. Also, if you're interested in 3-cat spam delay mechanics explained in in-depth videos, I recommend watching Bridger 5 because he has a very good in-depth explanation of it. So yeah, there are all my tips and tricks for you on how to get better at 3-cat spam. I hope you learned something in here, and I believe that you can get better. Sorry, this video was kinda awkward to do, because it's my first voiceover, to be honest. And yeah. Bye. I don't know how to make a proper outro yet. See you next video, I guess. Whenever that is.